Hello, my name's Alex Green, and I'm from the Black Cat Foundation, which was set up to try and reopen and save the legendary, iconic Black Cat in the High Street. One of the reasons we wanted, and thank you for seeing us, one of the reasons we wanted to come today and chat to you is it's almost 3.5 years since the pub closed. And for those of us stood outside campaigning every week, it just seemed like a heck of a long time. In the early days, it was very, very clear and very public that the council supported the campaign. And while we know that's clearly still the case because we have great feedback individually, and of course Danny Beale from the planning side has been incredibly supportive. We do get asked a lot in the street whether or not what is the position with the council. So one of the things is, we wanted to come today and just see if we could re-establish what that position is and how the idea of LGBTQ spaces and culture, how that fits into the wider culture. Where does that fit into your plans? Where does that fit into how our campaign is supporting that? One of the other things we wanted to do, and that's one of the things we'd like to get out of this today, is some sort of clarity about that position, so we can say confidently to people who speak to us every week, what's the council's position on this now? And so that would be very useful. I mean, the other thing as well for us to come to tell you today is that we are out there every week, but we have a contingency out there. We do vigils, not protests. So we'll have a group out there every week, and we get hundreds of people sign the petition to save and reopen the Black Cat for a whole host of reasons. But one of the main reasons that we hear time and time again is that people are scared that Camden's becoming beige. It's not the place that they move to or come to visit. And I think something like the Cap, so central to Camden, so iconic, so kind of embedded in its history, it actually worries people enormously because they don't actually know where it's going. And I think it is a sort of symbol of, is this where Camden's going? Now, obviously there is a sort of pretty vibrant sort of queer arts thing going on around Camden. But actually, the other thing that we hear mainly from our community is that Camden doesn't feel as welcoming, and I don't mean that it's not a safe place particularly, although there is lots of evidence from the Forum, who's one of our colleagues here, that there's been an increase in hate crime. Now, whether that's tied into the Black Cat closing, we don't know, but it's a significant thing that we are told regularly, we don't have places to go, where do we go? And I think that Camden, when I came here 30 years ago, was probably the most welcoming place for LGBT people, and therefore was a place that people understood if you were from a different group, if you were from a smaller minority, or whatever the situation was, that Camden was going to welcome you. It was part of the melting pot. And I do think there's a sense that Camden doesn't feel as welcoming to our community. And I don't believe that's the case, don't get me wrong, but I do think that that's not clearly put out sort of strongly enough. The other side to it as well is I think there's a real fear from our particular position is that investment, property, is much more valuable than culture, whatever that is. And I think we hear that time and time again. So when people are signing that petition, they're often signing it because they went to the Cap. It was a place that queer people engaged the wider community on its own terms. We don't have those places now. And I think of all places, Camden has always been that place where you could engage with the wider community on our own terms. So just really, it's hopefully that we can kind of sort of capture what your support actually is, which we hear from many of you, but some kind of position statement that says this is part of our plan. We do welcome, we want this, we want a wider set of people here bringing arts and culture. It's 25% of the economic turnover of Camden or something like that. So, we don't want to frighten away diverse culture and entertainment.
Just to echo everything that Alex said, my name's Jamie Johnston. I'm also from the Black Cat Foundation. The Black Cap is an example, as you know, of that thing that was happening in the early 2010s of a lot of foreign investment, sometimes quite shady investment, being used to buy up London property, and particularly London pubs, convert them, asset strip them,
30 seconds.
That still seems to be the mindset of the owner. There was a recent comment to the Camden New Journal that specifically said that he thought that the cabaret requirement was a problem And anyone who doesn't want to run the Black Cap as an LGBTQ venue and a cabaret venue doesn't really want to run the Black Cap. They don't understand its community values, so that's what we really want to protect.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Perfectly in time as well.